Hi everybody, my name is Rick Bowden and I am president of the Pinckney Putnam Hamburg Hell Chamber of Commerce. And if you're listening to this now, this is from a candidate forum that is being held on July 30th for the election that's going to be on August 4th. They're contested races. This is our second segment of the night, and this segment is for the candidates for Putnam Township Trustee. For Putnam Township Trustee, we've got 5 candidates and there will be four positions that will be selected. And there are also some Democrats, but they are not contested for the primary. So the candidates for the Republican candidates are Thomas Chambers, Sally Guyon, Norm Klein, Bob Press, and Ron Rao. And so we're going to go through. We've got 3 of them with us tonight. So each of them will be given 5 minutes, and then we'll have questions for each of them. So first, Tom Chambers.
Hi, my name is Tom Chambers, and I'm running for Putnam Township Trustee re-election. Just want to thank Rick and the Chamber for hosting this. I live in Putnam Township with my wife, Courtney, my 2 sons, Benjamin and Jonathan. I live in Putnam Township. I also work in Putnam Township. I have 4 years experience as Township Trustee. I have deep roots in Putnam Township. My family has lived in Putnam Township for 7 generations. I'm pro-business, pro-small business, I'm pro-fire department. I like the idea of small growth for our community. I believe it's important to have a working relationship with the Village of Pinckney and the public schools. I'm not afraid to go against the grain. I have an open-minded approach. To conclude, I'm asking for your vote on August 4th as Putnam Township Trustee. You can find me on the Republican ticket. Thank you.
Our next candidate is Bob Press.
My name is Bob Press. I'm running for re-election for trustee of Putnam Township. My wife Mary and I, with our 2 daughters, Deanna and Janice, moved out to Putnam Township in 1986. Both daughters graduated from Pinckney school system. We have 6 grandchildren. We just celebrated our 49th wedding anniversary. Our 1 daughter and her 2 daughters live with us. Both granddaughters are going to the Pinckney school system. One is a senior and on the varsity pom-pom team. And the other is going to 2nd grade, and she has me wrapped around her finger. We are members of St. Mary's Church. I belong to the men's club and also usher at the church, and you'll see me working at the fish dinners and breakfasts. I also belong to the American Legion Post 419 in Pinckney. Mary belongs to the Rosary Altar Society, and she's in charge of the Christmas Bazaar. I retired from General Motors in 2003 after 31 years as a millwright welder. I served in the Army for 2 years, 1970 and 71, with an honorable discharge. I got involved with the township in 2004. In 2004, I was appointed to the Zoning Board of Appeals for 4 years. In 2008, I was appointed to the Planning Commission for 8 years. In 2011, I was appointed as the trustee of the township when Kevin Dovis left. In 2012, elected trustee to the township board. In 2016, I lost the election. But in 2017, I was appointed to trustee of the township board when Dick McCluskey retired. In 2018, elected trustee to the township board. I have taken classes in the Zoning Board of Appeals, the Planning Commission. I still take classes every year for the township board, so you can see that I keep up what's new and helpful to the township. I am the liaison to the Senior Center. I work with our fabulous senior director for tree prevention to make sure everything's running smoothly. I used to get food from cleaners twice a month. Now with the pandemic, I go 6 times a month to get food from the Senior Center food pantry. The pantry is open 2 days a week, and I'm there both days passing out food. I've been an inspector of elections since 2008. I was on the board of review for 1 year. I have been in different committees: law enforcement, senior center, twice in the Park and Recreation Master Plan for the Village and Township. My priorities are to be a servant to the residents and be responsible to the needs, concerns of the residents, to keep Putnam rural and slow growth, to improve our roads, not to raise any new taxes, to have a balanced budget, and to stay within that budget. And work in the play area in the Township Square to upgrade the area. We are looking into that right now. My main priority is to get a larger senior center because the one we have now is getting small, and to have more parking. Right now we have a small parking lot, and sometimes the seniors have to park in the road, which is unsafe. We can do this without having to have a millage. I'm for conservative spending. We need to live within our means. Public safety is another concern for me. I do believe that we have enough right now, but also need to look down the road for more services if the residents want it. We do not have a millage for roads, but we work with Livingston County Road Commission. We pay part of the road, Commission pays the other part. We work together on the roads. We also do not have a millage for law enforcement or a millage for the senior center. So as a board, we are doing a very good job with our taxpayers' money. When we have a surplus from the budget at the end of the fiscal year, I would like to add more money to the roads. I'm asking for your vote on August 4th so I can go to the November election to stay in the Putnam Township trustee. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Our next candidate is Sally Guyon for trustee.
Good evening. My name is Sally Guyon, and thank you to Rick and the Chamber for hosting this event tonight. I'm currently the Township Clerk for Putnam Township, and I have been for the last 20 years, and continue to be through November. I was Deputy Clerk for 5 years prior to that. I want to thank the voters for their support for the last 20 years. My goal has always been to serve 5 terms if the voters would provide that opportunity for me, and you have, and I thank you very, very much for the opportunity. I've enjoyed serving my community in which I've lived for 37 years with my husband, Richard. We've raised 2 children who graduated from PP schools in 2003 and 2005 and have gone on to college and also to, what do I want to say, graduate degrees. And I'm very proud of them. During my tenure, we have worked hard to make Putnam Township a desirable place to live and raise a family, as well as a great place to retire. As clerk, elections are an extremely critical part of my job, requiring intensive attention to detail. And building and training a team to help operate the precincts on election day, and also the 3 months of preparation prior to every election is where we need that attention to detail. While holding office, Putnam Township voters have been assured that elections have been conducted with strict adherence to election law and focus on making the voter experience the best possible. By the end of my term, I will have administered 43 elections with the utmost care to security, accessibility, and assurance that our elections are safe and not accessible to fraud. While elections are an important statutory duty of clerks, there are many months of the year when they are not our main focus. As a member of the Putnam Township Board and a daily office administrator along with the supervisor and treasurer, we have built a new township hall, fire department, renovated the old library for a senior center, allowed Peace City Group to use the red building on the Township Square rent-free for student support and activities. All our buildings are debt-free. We've spent $36,000 over the last 4 years to restore Gilt's and Sprouts cemeteries. We've appropriated hundreds of thousands of dollars within our budget to supplement county road improvements without a road millage, and will continue to do so without a road millage. Spent $200,000 along with 2 grants for a total of $1.5 million to improve the Michael Levine Lakelands Trail, and we continue to maintain that. Over 20 years, we've moved the senior citizens from a classroom Then to the red building, which we renovated to fit their needs by adding a kitchen and handicap accessible restrooms. Then we purchased the old library, again debt-free, and renovated that to include a kitchen. And we have a wonderful director, Patrice Wrench, who has built that program, serving many, many senior citizens weekly. However, unfortunately, right now, they have not been meeting due to COVID. But still operating the food pantry and other services for them. We have made improvements to the Township Square by removing compromised trees and dead limbs and replacing them with new trees, installed a sidewalk from the monument to the gazebo and added 2 patios and a sidewalk to the red building. New and repaired playground equipment are now under consideration and in the planning stages. We've also paid for the county sheriff's department to patrol our streets and meet our residents and neighbors off. For the 20 years that I've been on the board, however, there was maybe a tenure or 2 with Pinckney Police, but regardless, always have provided that safety. We hired a new fire chief, Kurt Ruff, about 15 months ago, who has built and trained a team that is always ready to serve their community whenever there's a need. While maintaining we've done all of this while maintaining a healthy fund balance, even during the 2008 and current economic downturns. And we have utilized our residents' tax dollars to give them something back. And if I'm elected, I will advocate that this continue to be the focus of the new board. In closing, I would like to again ask for our voter support in this new chapter of my life, for the opportunity to once again serve our residents as a trustee on the Putnam Township Board and to continue to work for you and make our community a great place to live. Thank you.
Thank you, Sally. I think this has a little delay on it. Okay, we've got questions, so Sally, why don't you take the first question? You'll go first on the questions, and then we'll do it there. So. Again, a similar question to what we had with Hamburg Township, but I'm going to combine them a little bit. As you know, Putnam Township does not have a whole lot of development. And so what growth in both business and residential should there be, and how can it happen in Putnam Township?
Did you say growth?
What growth?
You know, we're uniquely situated just far enough away from US 23 and I-94, I-96, that we remain a bedroom community. However, I would certainly, I've always supported more business, and we've master planned for that, and we, in our last review, increased that somewhat, and also increased the density at the juncture of Dexter, Pinckney, or Dexter Road and M36, back in that southeast corner, or quadrant, so to speak. So, but we haven't seen a lot of applications for business or a higher density development or senior housing or affordable housing. So I think that our ordinances and master plan are there to support that should those applications come.
Putnam really doesn't have a whole lot of development, but what growth, both business and residential, should Putnam have, and how can it happen?
To add on to what Sally said, our ordinance is allowing for some growth around the village and the D19 area. I look at Putnam Township as kind of a destination town as well, and there's several instances of large farms being bought, and I think agritourism is going to be it's going to be nice for our community. As far as housing, we do need senior living and affordable housing, and there are some plans for senior living, so down the road, and that's my answer.
Well, we do have the property for commercial, if we have commercial people come in. And as for housing, we had one gentleman who wanted to put in some homes in one area, but found out that the water was no good, so it kind of come to a halt. Now we do have coming up a big project, that was the Girl Scout camp. Gentleman is talking about 99 homes in there, which is going to be a closed-in community, and they're going to be very expensive homes. But like I said, we live, like Sally was saying, we live so far away from 23, 96, and 94. To have commercial come in there, they're not coming. Now, we've had people say they want this and they want that, and I say, come up with the money. Put one in. I mean, we're not going to stop you. You know? So, our ordinances are all ready for anything, for residential or commercial. It's just a matter of waiting. As for senior housing, if Livingston County ever straightens out T19 at the gravel pit, the gentleman over there said he would put in senior housing. So we're just waiting on Livingston County. They've been talking about straightening out that road for over 10 years, so I don't know what the problem is.
The next question is, what can be done to improve Putnam Township? What areas do you see that really need some looking at? So, Tom, why don't you go first?
Needs improving. We're addressing this right now, but the park, the equipment in the park, the playground equipment needs to be addressed, and we are addressing that. Some of the dirt roads, we probably need to add some more product, maintain those. It's off the top of my head, that's what I'm thinking about.
Going along with Tom, we are working on the playground area in the Township Square. We have plans, and future plans, to buy all brand new equipment, which is going to take a little time. And we're looking at getting grants for that, donations, fundraisers. My biggest priority is we need a new senior center. I need one that's big enough to handle the people, and parking where they don't have to park in the road, which is very unsafe. And we can do this without creating a millage. So that's my priorities.
I can't really add a whole lot to that because I agree with both Tom and Bob. And as to the senior center, whether it's attached to the current township hall or a separate building at a right angle to it, we would be able to increase parking for them there. And we have a healthy fund budget, but with financing as it is today with low interest rates, there wouldn't be anything wrong with floating about or getting some sort of loan, how we did our township hall and fire department and pay it off early. So that and sprucing up the playground equipment, I agree. And I just would love to see a little more in the way of business. We've got some empty storefronts, and I don't have the answer. Just how do you draw people to your community? Unfortunately, the Art in the Park was canceled due to COVID and all the other events. It's nice that the chamber has a presence and does have those, have some events like the Food Truck Fridays that they propose, but I don't believe that's happening now. To bring people from outside the community and come in and see what a great town we are, and the dial has been actually fantastic, bringing people in from all over, and then they get an opportunity to see what a nice town we have and recreation. So we're just unique in that we have all the lakes and recreation, and that's such an asset. And to have the close relationship with the DNR and also the Pinckney Recreation Area. So,
Bob, you'll go first on the next one. What roads should be fixed in Putnam Township, and how should they be fixed?
It's kind of, there's a lot of roads that need to be fixed. A lot of the gravel roads need to be fixed. And like I said, we work with the Livingston County. They're only allowed each township a certain amount of money. And we try to go half and half. We try to put money in there and they put money in. To pave a road for 1 mile costs $3 million. And the county says they're not going to put up $1.5 million right now. So all we can do is work with the county and do gravel on our gravel roads that really need it, and we chloride it, the dust control. So that's all we can do for the roads.
We've talked about Farley Road a lot, and it would be great if we could pave at least up to the school. There's also some approaches to the smaller subdivisions, just as you get on Farley. I think Merrick is one of them, Coyle, something like that. Anyway, those are deteriorating. We do have a list of roads. I think it was about 10 roads that to prioritize. We only have so much money to put toward. We put $100,000 in our budget every year, and it just doesn't go very, very far. But we have a great relationship with the County Road Commission, and they work really well with us. So every year we target a few projects. But I know for one that Farley Road was one of them, but mostly the approaches to those subdivisions. But to pay the whole thing, like Bob said, millions of dollars, and we don't have half of that, millions of dollars to put toward. So we do the best we can.
Yeah, I'd like to see Farley, pave the dirt part and Swarth out. And this is more of a long-term goal. Having Farley paved, Swarth out paved, and Darwin paved, and Farley will need to be resurfaced fairly soon. The approach is, and then in short term, I'd like to see more product brought in for the dirt roads.
This is a question. This is a question that comes up, this question comes up always when we have the Putnam Township segment, but you've got the Village of Pinckney and you've got Putnam Township. How is the cooperation there? How is the communication? And what could be done to work together? And what things should be done to work together better? And what other opportunities are there? So Bob, you're first.
I would like to see a better relationship with the village. We do have our problems up and down. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't agree. I think the township bends over backwards to try to help work with the village, but for some reason, they just don't want to cooperate. One time I asked if we could join our planning commissions together so that for certain projects that would have benefited the village and the township, they didn't want to do it. So, I mean, I want to work with them, but I got to get some help from the village.
From my perspective, from the township perspective, we get along great with them. I think sometimes the barrier is, unfortunately, the way the state statute is set up, the village pays township taxes. We, as a township resident, don't pay village taxes. So they're paying, double taxes, let's say. There's nothing we can do about that. However, that tends to be the village council's answer when we try to partner with them on projects. The senior center is fully supported by the township, but benefits all the residents, as an example. We don't get any money from the village for that. The township square, they have events there. And, but we it is our property. We at one time thought, well, how about if you guys lease it from us for $1 and then maintain it? Well, there wasn't anything in it for them to maintain it, but you know, maybe help share the cost, since they, the township doesn't really have any events there. So, other than the chamber events that they apply for. But I really do think that we can work well together. We did a joint recreation plan. I was on that committee, and we finished that a couple years ago. So I know that we can, and I think it's a possibility. And I plan on, when I'm freed up and don't have office hours, that I can go over there and sort of build those relationships. And I know there's going to be a new village council president, who I know very well, and we'll see how it all goes.
I think the relationship is growing in the right direction between the township and the village. There maybe was some barriers, the park and maybe the police force and that, but you know, we're working to maintain a good relationship with them.
Tom, can you just like a 1-minute wrap up, state who you are and why people should vote for you?
My name is Tom Chambers. I'm running for Putnam Township Trustee, and I'm asking for your vote today on August 4th. Thank you.
Bob Press, running for re-election for the Township Trustees. I am a servant to the residents, and I will be responsive to the needs and concerns of the residents, to keep Putnam Township rural with slow growth, to have a balanced budget, to stay within that budget, not to raise any new taxes, spend more money on the road without a millage, to keep our senior center growing and to get a larger senior center with more parking. The way the seniors don't have to park in the road. That is unsafe, and we can do this without a millage. Work on the play area of the Township Square. We are going to fix what we have for now, but we're also looking for ways to replace with new equipment. Public safety is another concern for me. So I'm asking for your vote on August 4th, 2020. So let's have a big turnout. Your vote counts and can make a difference. Thank you.
I'm Sally Guyon, current township clerk and running for township trustee. And I am so grateful for your support over the last 20 years, and would like to ask you for your support once again in this new endeavor, so I can remain on the board and finish the work that needs to be done. Thank you.
Thank you. Those were the candidates for Putnam Township Trustee. We had Tom Chambers, Bob Press, and Sally Guyon. This is the Pinckney Putnam Hamburg Hill Chamber of Commerce candidate forum that is prior to the election on August 4th for the primary election. So we're gonna take a minute to switch over. It'll be a very fast switch over for our next segment. Thank you.